So if you're listening, chances are you're aiming higher than just, good grades or okay career success.
Right. You're probably looking at that really top tier.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
being the valedictorian,
Yeah.
getting into those elite global universities. But the sources we're diving into today, they have a pretty uncompromising view.
Yeah, it's
But-
challenging. Basically, they argue that to get that top tier success, you pretty much have to ditch the whole idea of a balanced life, that comfortable 50-50 split. Forget it.
Okay, wow.
Oh.
And this perspective, it's grounded in real experience, isn't it?
Absolutely. It comes from Matthew Smith. This is a student who really achieved, we're talking 3 A stars and an A in A-levels, valedictorian.
Impressive.
And now he's studying financial technology and computer science at the University of Hong Kong, which is ranked 11th globally.
Yeah.
Super high achiever.
Okay, so he has the results to back it up. And his approach seems to boil down to these 3 key mindsets we've identified.
That's right.
So our mission today is to unpack these: the behavioral gap, asymmetric focus, and compounding capability. We really need to get into why he sees sacrifice and hyper-focus as non-negotiable. Mandatory even.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Right. Let's start with that first one, the behavioral gap. We hear top 1% thrown around a lot. But what does it actually mean in this context?
Well, what's really interesting is how the source defines it. It's basically by exclusion.
Exclusion. How so?
Being in the top 1% just means you are actively not doing what the other 99% are doing. It's less about the final score and more about, your daily choices, your behaviors.
That makes a lot of sense. The valedictorian, who's also student council president, juggling internships and a killer GPA,
Yeah,
their day looks completely different from the average student's day.
totally different. If the average person studies, say, 2 hours, this person studies 4, then maybe spends another hour on something strategic, like networking or building a project.
And those different choices, they require sacrifices, right?
Yep.
Things most people aren't willing to do.
Exactly. And that leads us straight into the core principle here. The willingness to give things up, things others hold on to.
The source gives a really vivid example from his time at HKU. Highly selective place, remember?
Yeah, ranked 11th. And he lives in this super competitive dorm, only like a 9% acceptance rate. He calls his floor mates his brothers.
So what happened?
Well, there was this specific situation. His floor planned a big night drinking party, hanging out with girls from other floors, the classic university social scene.
Yeah, high pressure situation.
And he admitted he was really tempted. He even said something like, which guy wouldn't want to spend time with good-looking girls and his best friends?
Totally understandable.
Ah.
So what was the conflict for him? Why was it a tough choice?
It came down to priorities and, time. He had a critical swimming practice the next morning.
Ah.
And they were only 1 week away from a final competition. This wasn't just a casual swim. It was tied to a specific goal he had.
So immediate fun versus something linked to a longer-term goal. What did he choose?
He chose swimming, stayed in, skipped the party, didn't drink, went to practice the next day feeling, as he put it, completely energized, trained harder.
And the outcome?
Their dorm actually won the whole competition. But the key point isn't just missing one party. It's that he made the hard choice, the goal-focused choice, when probably 99% of students would have gone for the easy, immediate fun.
And that choice directly ties into his advice for listeners, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He basically says, stop waiting around for motivation to strike. Stop scrolling endlessly on TikTok or watching 10 YouTube videos in a row.
Just do the hard work, as he puts it. Don't waste time.
It's pretty blunt advice, yeah. If you're doing what everyone else does, the scrolling, the distractions, then, you can't be surprised if you get the same results as everyone else. Sacrifice is the cost of entry to that top tier.
Okay, that flows perfectly into the second mindset, asymmetric focus. This is where the imbalanced life concept really comes in. The sources basically throw that whole 50-50 balance idea out the window.
Completely. The notion that you can successfully give equal weight to everything, family, friends, fitness, career, hobbies, according to this view, that's a recipe for mediocrity. Matthew calls top 1% success completely asymmetrical.
So if you picture life like a pie chart,
Yeah.
your main goals, your primary focus, take up maybe 80 or 90% of that pie. Everything else has to be secondary. It's a strict hierarchy, not a balance beam.
And that hierarchy becomes essential when you look at his specific goals. Academically, sure, good grades at HKU, but the real target, landing a job in quant trading.
Can you quickly explain quant trading for anyone who might not know? It sounds intense.
Oh, it is. It's extremely competitive, algorithmic trading. Think advanced math, physics, computer science, all applied to making super fast investment decisions. We're talking about some of the most difficult and highest paying entry-level jobs on the planet. Getting one requires serious, dedicated prep.
Wow. Okay. And his personal goals aren't small either.
Not at all. He talks about wanting to be strong, physically fit, a masculine man,
Yeah.
achieving financial stability, and really importantly for him, retiring his parents and being a solid foundation, a rock and pillar for his future family. These are huge long-term commitments.
So if those are the non-negotiables, the big slice of the pie,
Yeah.
what about everything else?
That's where the term noise comes in. Anything that isn't actively pushing you towards those specific goals, that's noise. And noise, according to him, needs to be either drastically minimized, like almost to zero,
Yeah.
or cut out completely, removed from your life.
Okay, but here's a question that probably comes up for a lot of people listening.
Yeah.
Doesn't that lead straight to burnout? If you're so focused living this asymmetric life, where's the break? Where's the relief? Isn't there a risk of just collapsing?
That's a really important question, and the source material actually addresses it, though maybe indirectly. The idea is that downtime itself needs redefining. Downtime isn't procrastination. It's not mindless scrolling. True downtime, in this framework, should still ideally align with a goal, even if it's a secondary one. For Matthew, swimming practice was intense, yes, but it also served his goal of health and physique. It was productive rest, in a way.
I see. So the things he cut out, the noise like video games or endless social media, those aren't considered real rest.
Exactly. They're seen as energy drains, focus eroders. They don't actually recharge you for your main goals. So the commitment feels sustainable to him because the rest activities like exercise or maybe deep reading on a relevant topic are still beneficial, still building something.
That's a critical distinction. It's not about eliminating all non-work activity, but eliminating non-productive activity.
Precisely. And the examples of what he actually cut out are quite stark. Take video games. He admits he was addicted to Genshin Impact,
Oh, yeah.
playing like 2 to 3 hours a day, plus Roblox.
Okay, that's a significant chunk of time that most students would probably write off as essential relaxation. What did he do?
When he decided to really lock in, as he says, he didn't just uninstall Genshin for a bit. He changed the password and gave the whole account away to a friend.
Gave the account away. Wow.
Yeah, creates a massive barrier to going back. And his Roblox account completely deleted it before his A-level exams.
Okay, deleting the account entirely.
Yeah.
Serious commitment. Most people struggle just logging off Instagram for an evening. That really shows the asymmetric focus in action.
It's ruthless elimination of noise. Same with social media. He sees apps like Instagram as attention killers. So
Yeah.
his rule, only download it if there's a specific goal-related reason to post. Post done. App deleted. Immediately.
That's a powerful strategy against the attention economy. The source even mentions people like Elon Musk as extreme examples of this alignment, focusing so hard on goals that other life areas, like relationships, get severely deprioritized.
Right. And Matthew clarifies, you don't necessarily need to get divorced like Musk did to succeed, but the underlying principle holds. You must be willing to give up whatever is actively stopping you from reaching your goals, no hesitation.
It's about being fiercely protective of your time and focus. And that quote he uses from YouTuber K-Ram sums it up perfectly, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. If you don't sacrifice for your dreams, then your dreams become the sacrifice. It's stark. If you don't actively choose to cut the noise, you're passively choosing to sacrifice your potential.
That's a powerful thought. Okay, let's move to the final mindset, the one that provides the leverage for all this effort. Compounding capability.
Right. This is about learning how to learn. Described as possibly the single highest ROI return on investment skill you can develop.
It's applying finance principles to personal growth. He references that atomic habits idea, right? Getting just 1% better each day.
Exactly. Which sounds small, but over a year, that compounds to being, 36 times better? It's huge.
And the returns aren't just money.
No, not at all. It's compounding discipline, focus, health, knowledge, even character. It's the relentless consistency of small, smart efforts that builds that massive advantage over time.
You can really see it in his examples. Knowledge, for instance. Reading a good book for 30 minutes a day doesn't sound like much.
But do that consistently for years. You build this incredible foundation of knowledge that compounds. Suddenly, you connect ideas others can't.
And his fitness transformation, too.
Yeah, driven by consistency. Just exercising 3 times a week. He saw results in 2 months, he said, but an insane transformation after 2.5 years. That payoff. Purely consistency beating raw intensity.
What I find really interesting is how he applied this compounding idea to his study methods, too. He wasn't just passively using old habits.
No, he was actively improving his process, researching new learning techniques, reading books on productivity and how memory works. He was optimizing the engine, not just pouring in fuel.
So things like spaced repetition or active recall, maybe.
Hmm.
Continuously refining how he learned.
We can infer that, yeah. In a place like HKU, you can't just rely on what worked in high school. You have to upgrade your learning system. That focus on how to learn is the ultimate ROI activity.
But there's a flip side, isn't there? The regression trap.
Yes. The source is very clear. Learning has to be lifelong. The moment you stop actively trying to learn and improve, you start going backward.
There's no standing still.
Apparently not. If you're not intentionally improving, the source suggests you regress, people stagnate, and then often slide into those negative things, too much partying, drinking, distractions. It implies there's no neutral.
So if you don't actively fill your time with positive, goal-driven effort.
A vacuum is created, and that vacuum inevitably gets filled with noise and regression.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. For someone listening who wants that top-tier success, what's the main takeaway from these three mindsets?
I think the unifying theme across the behavioral gap, asymmetric focus, and compounding capability is just relentless clarity and focused action.
Top students succeed because they make these huge, concentrated belts of effort towards one main goal.
Exactly. While mediocre students tend to scatter themselves, too many hobbies, dabbling in 10 different sports, juggling bad habits, they spread their energy too thin.
Like the saying, if you walk in many different directions at once, you end up going nowhere.
Pretty much. This whole story suggests that intentionality isn't just a nice to have. If you want to be exceptional, it's absolutely essential.
And that final warning from the source is quite potent.
Yeah. If you don't deliberately fill your life with the good stuff, the focused work, the learning life will fill it with the bad stuff, the noise.
So the final thought for you, the listener, to really mull over is this. What parts of your life right now are filled with noise simply because you haven't yet committed to filling them with intentional, maybe even uncomfortable asymmetric goals that demand real sacrifice? What are you willing to cut out starting this week to bridge that gap?